The SCG is Sydney's premier stadium to watch football, cricket, rugby, and even live concerts. It is filled with a jam-packed history that we'll be uncovering today. It all started in 1851 when Colonel Henry Bloomfield was granted 25 acres of land behind the barracks known as Paddington. This was for a soldier's cricket field, rifle range, and garden. The ground was named Garrison Ground. In 1854, the first recorded cricket match was played between the Royal Victoria and Garrison cricket clubs, with the Garrison Cricket Club winning the match by 1 run. In 1875, the NSW Cricket Association is granted permission to utilise the ground, and they used £3,000 for a redevelopment, renaming it the Association Cricket Ground. A cricket match in 1876 is played between New South Wales Government Printing Office and the Audit Office. In 1878, the first Members' Pavilion is erected. The Association Cricket Ground is inaugurated with a first-class cricket match between NSW and Victoria on the 25th of October. The same year, athletic competitions commence and tennis courts are formed on the northern edge of the ground. The Members' Pavilion is opened in 1881 and cyclists start using the ground for racing meets. On the 6th of August, the first recorded VFL match is played at the SCG between Victoria and NSW, and the following year the ground hosts its first test match between Australia and England, where Australia emerged victorious by 5 wickets. In 1886, a second Members' Pavilion is constructed at a cost of £6,000, and the NSW Baseball Association plays their first match at the ground. In 1888, the first rugby game is played between teams representing Australia and Britain, with 3 matches being played at the ground. In 1892, Lord Sheffield's Excite tours Australia and plays a game at the ACG, before donating £150 for the establishment of a competition which we now know as the Sheffield Shield. In 1894, the ground is renamed to the Sydney Cricket Ground. In 1896, the Ladies' Members' Pavilion replaces the first one for a cost of around £6,000, while in the same year a scoreboard is introduced to the ground. Another grandstand named the Northern Stand is erected to the east of the Members' Pavilion. The scorecard is replaced by a new one in 1905. In 1911, Australia and New Zealand play a rugby game in honour of the Queen's coronation, and in 1912 the Smokers, then renamed the Sheridan Pavilion, is erected. During World War I, international cricket stops, but first-class cricket remains before it comes to a halt after the death of Aussie Test cricketer Albert Cotter. In 1914, baseball games are played at the SCG between American teams and New South Wales. The Robertsons and Marks designed scorecard is erected on the SCG's hill, replacing the 1906 one, before 4 years later the ground purchases its first motorized lawn roller. In 1936, a new members' stand replaces the Northern Stand, sweeping west beyond a clock tower before replacing the Ladies' Pavilion. However, the last section does not occur as the western wing is not built yet. In 1938, the SCG hosts the British Empire Games, or now known as the Commonwealth Games. During World War II, alongside the MCG, the SCG is occupied by Australian military forces. In 1951, the SCG is brought together with the sports ground through Amalgamated Trust. In 1961, trams stopped operation in getting patrons to and from the SCG, before in 1965 a record crowd of 70,000 people attend the rugby grand final between St George and South Sydney, with St George winning their 10th consecutive premiership. In 1970, Queen Elizabeth II attends a rugby game at the SCG as part of her Australia tour. In 1974, the Bradman Stand is opened for a cost of $2 million after legendary Test cricketer Donald Bradman. The SCG Museum opens on the 14th of January 1977. The next year, in 1978, 6 floodlight towers are used for the ground's first day-night World Series cricket match between the Aussies and the West Indies. In 1980, the Barwongal Stand is opened for a cost of $8.9 million, before 2 years later the South Melbourne Football Club relocate to Sydney and start playing their games at the ground. In 1983, the SCG's first electronic scorecard is put into place for a match between New South Wales and Pakistan, before in 1984 the new Pat Hill Stand is erected on Paddington Hill, and in 1986 the Churchill Stand is opened. In 1992, the SCG hosts 4 matches of the Cricket World Cup before in the early 2000s the Victor Trumpet stand is erected, and in 2014 the new M.A. Noble, Don Bradman and Dally Messenger stands are opened. Today, the SCG is a venue where Sydney-siders go to enjoy and soak in the atmosphere. The ground has a vision to expand outdated pavilions and upgrade facilities. Let me know what you think of this. If you enjoy this content, there is more coming your way. But until then, goodbye.